afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. A lot of you are sending me messages on topics, and I appreciate you doing that as well. And one topic I've actually thought about as well, so thank you so much, Rita, for sending this. And this is, what are the advantages of homeschooling? So Rita tells me that her kids have been in public school, and she's just a little concerned about some of the things that are being taught and some of the things that people are allowing as far as the school system. And I had mentioned before, I have a sister-in-law, Paula, who actually homeschooled all of their kids. And I'm going to have to tell you this, those kids are the brightest kids I have ever seen. And one question was, are kids antisocial when they've been at home being homeschooled? No, these kids are not antisocial at all. They can speak in front of a crowd. That's how they are. Very well educated, very well accepted into college as well. So let's go ahead and talk about some of those reasons you might want to consider homeschooling, and then we'll also see if there are any disadvantages of that. Now, this is a awesome website right here. It's homeschoolingtoolbox.com. That's homeschoolingtoolbox.com. You'll find some information about that. They also have some public links on more ideas and how you can get literature and things like that as well. So let's see, they say you get to sleep longer. I'm not so sure Paula would have said that, but sleep longer. The American Academy of Sleep Medicine, that's AASM, published guidelines accepted by the American Academy of Pediatrics, that's the AAP, that school-aged children need 9 to 12 hours of sleep, and teenagers need 8 to 10 hours of sleep. Now, this is hard to accomplish when the bus comes around 6:30. I know it did with us growing up. And school begins at 8 a.m. Homeschool allows for a flexible schedule that allows your kids to sleep longer and feel well rested to start the day. I get that. That would have been awesome. And I'm going to make a note here, a side note. I took my son out of the public school a few years ago, and didn't like the idea that he would be using a calculator in math. That kind of upset me. This is in the 1980s. And so he went to private school, and it took a lot of money, and there was a lot of challenges on our end to make sure he could go. So he went to Trinity Christian Academy, located in Oxford, Alabama. Wise move. I'm really glad I did that. And so that was just my thought. And I would probably be homeschooling at this point. And so let's talk about number 2, which is no dress code. I didn't know there was a dress code in public schools anyway. You don't have to worry about dress codes since everything in your child's closet has already been homeschool approved, right? The school uniform can be a simple t-shirt and athletic shorts or whatever your child finds most comfortable wearing. An accident or spill during the day just requires a trip to the closet. It's kind of like folks working from their homes now. I work from my home now. Phil had a studio built for me, which is pretty awesome. I still have to dress up though. So anyway, but I can see that being a challenge, okay? All right, number 3, multiple breaks. When one subject assignment is finished and some downtime is needed before starting the next, breaks can be scheduled accordingly. I think that really can fit in with the schedule really well. Number 4, less high stakes testing. Homeschool is not exempt from all forms of testing. Still got to have tests, and the requirements vary from state to state. However, there are less tests than a traditional public school and definitely less high stakes testing. Now, some states do require tests for certain grade levels or specific high school subjects, but you can schedule those when it works best for your child and for your schedule as well. Okay, number 5, conversational lunches. Talking during lunch at homeschool is welcomed and encouraged. Adults are also allowed to talk on their lunch breaks, and kids should be able to do the same. Lunches are casual and conversational every day. Okay, how about number 6? Free field trips. Free. You can arrange as many field trips as the schedule and budget permits through the school year. There are many free homeschool field trips options if you can get a little bit creative. I can see that. Backpack optional. There have been studies that show the negative long-term impact of heavy backpacks, yet students in traditional schools still carry them full of books and supplies in order to get to classes on time. Homeschool backpacks are optional. Number 8, pets are allowed. And I'm going to have to tell you, this is the big reason I would want to be homeschooled. You can actually have your pets. And that's pretty cool right there. Pets are known to have a therapeutic impact on reducing stress and anxiety. If you have pets in your home, there's a good chance they'll have regular, welcome attendees of your homeschool class. Homeschool is family pet approved. That's pretty cool. Okay, naps are allowed. You know, we used to have naps. When I was going to elementary school, I went to Friendship Elementary School from the first grade to the sixth grade. And I'll have to tell you, that was a good little school right there on the outside of Chehaw Acres in Oxford, Alabama. We had naps every day. The teachers totally encouraged that. Not all day, but we would have about 15-20 minutes. Nap times for younger students in traditional schools are pretty much non-existent. Homeschool allows a schedule to be built that includes a nap time for young learners. Your middle schooler and teens may be fans of a power nap on occasion too. Okay, number 10, gum is allowed. I don't know about that one. There have been studies, though, that correlate chewing gum with increased attention and concentration. Chewing gum is usually against traditional school rules, but it could be an option or an occasional treat in your home school. I remember like the desk, under the desk would be this, ugh, it was like disgusting. Chewing gum people had chewed and put under the desk when they were about to be caught from the teacher, for chewing gum. 11, no bus. Oh boy. Our bus driver was Mrs. Freeman, and I loved Miss Freeman and Mr. Pettis when I went to Friendship Elementary School. And I'll tell you, I love Miss Pettis, but I'm going to tell you what, we were the first ones picked up and the last ones dropped off. It was way over an hour on the bus. But you know what? Miss Pettis made it a treat anyway. Okay, AKA the big cheese. It really sets a tone for a hard start to the day when the bus rolls around and the student is running out the door to catch a ride. It's not really the kind of adrenaline you want to start the school day. Afraid you're going to be late. A traditional school bus ride is definitely an experience, perhaps not for all the right reasons. Some schools are on a long, hot bus ride for up to an hour and twice a day. Not a good thing. The homeschool bus, excuse me, I have asthma and it acts up sometimes. The school homeschool bus is otherwise known as the family car, and hopefully it isn't as hard to get everyone at a designated time. Interestingly, the school bus ride is what some homeschool kids would love to have attended in traditional schools, and they would like to experience it. The next time your community is using school buses as a shuttle for special events, give them this experience. Let them see what the bus ride is all about. I'm telling you, bumpy, bumpy, hot, hot, cold, cold. Not the best thing in the world. Excuse me just a moment. Thank you for the excusing me there. Number 12, I love this one. Practice horticulture at home. Everybody needs to know about seeds, planting gardens, that kind of thing. You can take homeschool classes outdoors anytime. That includes projects at home that provide opportunities for learning and improving your home. Your homeschoolers could help with a garden, landscaping, or care for various plants and vegetation. When students are older, these projects could also serve as high school electives for credit. You know what? Teach your kids horticulture. Really do that. Hydroponics is a great way to let the kids learn about school and about all kinds of plant needs, where your food comes from, all those great things. Number 13, I like this one. Parental discipline. Okay, you establish the boundaries and the consequences at home and determine how the child is disciplined. It's not left up to another person who may say or do things in a way that's not in line with your preferences for discipline. In a public school setting, systems and procedures are pre-established and you sign contracts to agree to them, even if it's not what you believe about effective discipline. You know something I remember, Friendship Elementary School, and our principal's name was Mr. Lovern. And oh, Mr. Lovren was an awesome, awesome principal. But I'll tell you one thing, you did not want to be called into his office. He had this big board. It was called the Board of Discipline. It was a board, had holes in it and everything. I never got a paddling, but some of those boys did. Let's cut to a commercial break. We'll be right back in just a minute. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Let Rhonda at Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC take the burden off you for all your tax needs. I know because Rhonda has been taking care of my business since 2013. I feel Rhonda works for me because she knows the direct questions to ask to better benefit my unique business in order for me to get back the biggest refund possible. Rhonda is an ongoing student, and she knows tax laws are in a constant change every year. Call 256-281-9903 for an appointment to take the dread out of getting your taxes done. Rhonda is located at 11968 U.S. Highway 431 in Boaz. Again, that number is 256-281-9903. And let Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC champion your personal and business taxes. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers. Okay, we are back. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. I'm so glad you're part of our day today. You really are the apple of my eye. I know you could be doing anything else, but we're going to be talking for just a few minutes about homeschooling. Okay, let me give you this website. It's a real good one. Homeschooltoolbox.com. Last one we were really talking about was parental discipline. You're the key of that, okay? And the way you choose to do that. Okay, number 14 is learn alongside your child. Going back to school in the form of a homeschool parent is a special opportunity to learn alongside your child. A child is a traditional public school may be too tired or overwhelmed from a school day to really tell you about what they're learning. And then you're busy working or whatever. So this is just the perfect thing. Homeschool is a very personalized education with parents as partners in the day-to-day learning process. Pretty cool, huh? And let me tell you something else about my sister-in-law, Paula. So she has the older boys, and then she has the younger daughter. And the younger daughter is a little baby, and she's crawling around, and she's learning things in the process as well. One smart gal, I'm telling you. Okay, grown up now with her own kids. Homeschooling, by the way. Okay, work around special schedules. Some parents choose to homeschool out of a need for their kids to participate in special sports and performing arts or other unique experience. Maybe your child has a high interest in talent in theater. A homeschool environment allows a family to work around special schedules, practices, and events. I mean, I'm all in. And again, I'm saying this, if my son now were in school, I'd be homeschooling. Number 16, customize lesson plans. Your lesson plans may be as simple or as complex as you want them to be, unless your state has specific requirements for lesson plans. There's a freedom to plan in a way that makes the most sense for your schedule, curriculum choices, and family. I think that's pretty cool. Number 17, life skills. Homeschooling includes many opportunities for teaching life skills and skills your child will utilize into adulthood. They can learn these skills through specific courses, but they also can learn just about as much as they can, like on running errands, doing chores, and helping with managing the home. That's part of it too, right? Number 18, this is a real important one, one-on-one time. How much time do you really get to spend with your kids? They're in school, you're at work, all this stuff's going on, life's happening. Wow. I mean, the whole world is just absolutely went crazy. It's crucial we spend more time with our kids or our grandkids. Homeschooling with multiple children creates a busy day, but it still allows for more one-on-one with each child throughout the day as you guide and support them with their learning. Now, in a typical brick and mortar classroom, it's difficult, if not impossible, to give individual students extended one-on-one attention. And this is from talking with teachers I know. They love the teaching profession, and it's an awesome profession, but the problem is that they're spending so much time with discipline. With the rowdy kids are getting all the attention, and the good ones are having to sit there and twiddle their thumbs or on the desk or whatever. And so I can definitely see that. I can see how some kid gets left behind because they're not the rowdy one. That's just not fair. The whole system is not set up fair. 19, encourage independence. High school homeschool students can become more independent and take on more responsibility for their learning, especially as they transition to middle and high school. Often older students will learn to structure their day to get school work done more quickly so they can pursue other interests or hobbies. Parents can be there for support, but also encourage independence as each student achieves their goals. Number 20. This is a good one. Resolve sibling conflict positively. Sibling conflict and the little showing out stuff is inevitable. Homeschool or not, in a homeschool environment, you can help your kids work through conflict as positively and peacefully as possible. Homeschooling siblings tend to be especially close, and this probably is one of the reasons why that's true. When you spend time, hours together, and it's required to find a way to get along with each other or face a consequence, most siblings will work it out. I think that's pretty cool. Control over content. Control over content. What does that mean? A homeschool education gives parents an opportunity to control when and how students learn certain concepts. It allows parents to decide if their content is religious based or secular, and pull from resources that most closely line up with family values. That's true. 22, free access to snacks. Huge homeschool advantage. Snacks are free. Well, free in a sense that your child is not limited to a certain time that they can eat them or have to purchase them from a vending machine. If your children know where snacks are located and where they're allowed, when they're allowed, then it's definitely a perk. Homeschool can have access to a snack bar when needed. You know what I would train the kids on? This would be another school class. How to make your own granola bars. Wouldn't that be something? You wouldn't have to worry about, all the stuff that shouldn't be in your food either. All right, number 23, flexible scheduling. True. Not every day of homeschool will go as planned. Every day is not perfect. You may have days where everyone is off or sick or unexpected events distract from the school day. Homeschool offers flexible scheduling where you can adjust as needed based on various circumstances. 24, you can take sick days as needed. Homeschool permits sick time without getting behind. That child will get to focus on getting well and then picking up where they left off once they've recovered from illness or injury. There's no pressure to return to get back to school before he or she is feeling better. Safety. Sadly, safety at public schools should not be one of the top reasons, and it is, that parents choose to homeschool. But acts of violence and bullying at school are very much on the minds of parents as they consider whether or not to homeschool. Totally get it. Number 26, opportunities for travel. Traveling around the school year makes it hard for families to experience unique opportunities off peak season or to take vacation at times that are more affordable throughout the year. Traditional school attendance policies make it difficult, if not impossible, to travel except for holidays or summer. This is when travel is expensive and crowded and may not be as optional for parents who work outside the home. Opportunities for travel at random times of the year is an advantage of a homeschool education. Let's talk about number 27. This is monitored peer influence. As homeschoolers start connected with other groups and become more involved in the community, parents are able to monitor peer influence. Any interaction that presents issues with bullying, cliques, there's little cliques there, or exposure to negative peer pressures can be addressed. Peer pressure is more closely monitored than is possible on the traditional trick and mortar school campus. Number 28, encourage self-motivation in your kids. Oh man, that's lacking these days, isn't it? As students progress through homeschool, they begin to take more control of their learning. They also figure out that self-motivation will lead to spending more time on their terms. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, more time for special interests. At homeschool, a homeschool day does not mirror a similar instructional schedule as school day in a brick and mortar setting. It does not take as long to complete schoolwork in an environment that has less transitions and interruptions. Think about this. You're stopping, you're running down the hall, you're going to whatever at school. All that's done. You're not doing that. The shorter length of time for a school day leaves plenty of time for exploring special interests. Some homeschool families pursue those interests as a family, such as learning a musical instrument, and others give their kids freedom to work on independent projects and interests outside of their studies. Number 30, and I love this one, less drama. Hopefully there's less drama between siblings, I don't know, some, than there would be among same age peers in a traditional school setting, especially in the high school level. Number 31, no commute. Depending on where you live, a trip to the local public school could be within a walking distance, or it could be a commute 20 minutes or more. The time spent from not having to commute is more time for flexible schedule that works best for your family. It's less time on the road during heavy school traffic so that your kids can spend less rushed start to their day. And we kind of talked about that also with the bus. I had to take my son to school. Even though we lived just a couple of miles from the school, the bus would not pick him up. That was kind of an aggravation because I had a career as well. And so when he was going to public school, I'd have to take him to school. I don't know why the bus wouldn't come pick him up. Who knows what that reason was. But anyway, none of that nonsense, okay? Learning takes place beyond your home. Homeschool could be called anytime, anywhere school. It can take place on the road when needed, in a family member's home, on a trip, indoors or outdoors. And I'm going to tell you, this is a good one right here. Number 33, children mature at their own speed. That's good. If you have a child who is more advanced or more immature than typical age peers, it could set up a potential conflict in a traditional school setting. Now, students on both ends of the maturity spectrum are often targeted as different and could struggle to make friends. How many times have you known the kid who was just a brainiac? They were the brainiac. They got picked on. Never thought that was fair. Homeschool is a safe environment where kids can mature at their own speed and learn the skills they need when they are ready. Number 34, master topics before moving on to the next. There's not a lot of opportunity in a traditional school to slow down as needed to allow for mastery of a topic. Some parents choose to homeschool because they notice gaps in a subject area, and homeschool allows them to set the pace and reteach concepts that their kids will learn later on. Number 35, no homework. No homework. Kids spend all day at school and then come home to do more school. It creates a cycle of burnout and takes away from family time that's already limited after the work day. It does not always line up with the real world experience, as most workers are able to finish their expected duties and have time off after these duties are complete. Number 36, curiosity is welcomed and encouraged. Questions, ideas, what ifs, those are a wonderful gift of childhood curiosity, and hopefully on to adulthood is valued and is given a place in homeschool instruction. Kids can't always ask the question they want to ask in a traditional school, or explore ideas more in depth in a traditional school setting. It's usually not intended on the teacher's part, as he or she is just not capable of answering multiple questions of 20 or 25-year-olds all day long. But they put systems in place for children to work quietly and orderly, which doesn't support the natural curiosity level of kids. Let's share germs. That's a biggie, especially with COVID, the way that outbreak happened a few years ago. Kids share a lot of things in school, including germs. Not a good thing. Everything from lice to the stomach bug often makes its way throughout a classroom, despite efforts to sanitize and keep a clean classroom. You have kids who sit side by side in hallways waiting for school to start, backpacks, lunches, that hang out side by side or end up piled on the floor. Water fountains, pencils, supplies, they're all touched by multiple children throughout the day. Germs are still present in homes as well as among siblings, but it's much less exposure to all the different kinds of illnesses and issues. Okay, number 38, kids can be themselves. I think they need to be themselves, don't you? They need to grow up and learn responsibility as well. But let's talk about this. Your child can be completely by himself or herself at home. They may have a stubborn, strong-willed child, that would have been me, who asks a lot of why, and a quiet, sensitive child who needs a lot of reassurance. Both can thrive with an environment that allows them to completely be themselves. How about this one? Number 39, music to my ears. Music is actually allowed and can be a powerful productivity tool for kids, especially older kids who appreciate and enjoy all forms of music. As long as your homeschoolers are age appropriate for pacing and independent work, music can be a regular part of their school at home day. Younger students may also enjoy some structured and unstructured time with music included in the background. Let's go with this number 40, and we're going to have to cut to a break, and we'll be back with part 2. When you teach at home, you have a wide variety of choice instructional curriculum tools. This will allow you to find a better fit for all kinds of learning styles and different points of view. There are families who choose an all-in-one curriculum with a biblical worldview. I like that. Families can choose a secular online curriculum if that works for them. So families who pick and choose materials based on particular topic or theme, and really any kind of curriculum framework that is a fit for your family. We'll be back with part 2 coming up. Thank you so much for watching part 1 of The Edge on IC Radio. We're talking about homeschooling. If you have any questions, you can direct those to my email address. That's donna@icradio.media. donna@icradio.media. Again, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you, and we will see you on the next show. Good afternoon. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and Abundance Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. We are syndicated. I'm going to have some great news coming up for you pretty soon. I can't say anything yet. I'm just dying to, but it's going to be really, really good, and I'm very excited about this. But thanks to you that this whole thing is happening. Again, thank you for watching. We're talking about homeschooling. Why is that so important? I'm just going to tell you. If my son were younger now, I would definitely be homeschooling him. There are so many perks to it. You don't have to worry about so many things that happen in the regular school system. So let's start out with number 41. We got to 40 through 40 on the other show, but 41. Celebrate birthdays all day long. Birthdays are so awesome and so important to a child. You get to celebrate all day long. There are so many students in a regular classroom that you can't, and it's not the teacher's fault, but you can't get to each and every child. You can if you're homeschooling. That child's going to feel really special. So you can celebrate with their favorite breakfast or maybe special perks throughout the homeschool day. Number 42, time to eat. You got my subject right there. So homeschool students not only have to feel the rush to eat in a set amount of time, including the time it took to wait in line, you remember those days, while homeschoolers may have a set time for meals, an advantage over the school cafeteria is what they can finish eating without the pressure of having to leave because another student needs their seat, you know. Some people eat faster than others. Okay, number 43, extra recess every day. Homeschool includes extra recess every day. Kids need time to pretend, play, and just be kids. Whether it's indoors or outdoors, which is very important, by the way, time to play is a definite advantage to homeschool. Acceleration. Kids need a challenge. They don't get that much in the public schools because they have covered a subject they can move on and get an additional layer of work to get more of a challenge. Number 45, less filler work. What do we mean by that? Homeschool students get the assignments they need for a day, topic, skill done, and do not need extra assignments to fill the time because they are finished early or because it's common in a traditional school, get to school early, stay later on to wait on the bus. There's all that filler time, you know. Number 46, less pressure with grades. Still got to make good grades, but listen to this. This makes a lot of sense. So grade requirements vary from state to state, but most do not mandate a certain number of grades to average a final grade. Now that's less emphasis on grades and more attention on learning for the sake of learning. Number 47, shorter school days. I'm into that. Many homeschool students finish their school day to day or early afternoon, maybe depending on what that time of the day they get start their school work. Older students may finish some assignments in the afternoon, but that's usually based on how they structure that particular day. Now, number 48, moves are not dependent on school districts. This happens all the time. I'm going to say probably about 70%, maybe. I've read that in an article once. 70% of the reason people move is because of the school. There really is. Maybe they're in a terrible one right now, but then when they move on, they can move. They have to move like out of a district to be able to get to the school they'd love their kids to be in. Number 48, moves are not dependent. We saw that. So as homeschooling family, you no longer have to move to an area or buy a home based on the school district. You can move based on the area and housing that works best for your family needs. Okay, number 49, no need to label clothing or search for the lost and found. I remember those days. Younger kids have a lot to keep up with at school, especially during the winter season. It's a struggle for 5-year-olds and teachers with a whole class full of students to remember the coats, the gloves, the toboggans, the lunch boxes at the end of the day when the bell rings. While things may still get lost at home, at least it does not require a backpack to school or cleaning out a lunch box or backpack with an uneaten banana left at school over the weekend. Ooh, imagining opening up that lunch box. Okay, less distracting safety drills. And then schools have to do this. Now, we need to know the safety inside the homes as well, okay? But it's not as distracting as a of like a loud thing while you're in the middle of classwork. Public schools are mandated to perform monthly and sometimes more often safety drills. There are fire drills, there are severe weather drills, lockdown drills, and others that often come with little warning and a loud alarm in the middle of school. To some young and older too, kids, that's a startling way to induce anxiety. Some kids have a daily stress anticipated the next drill or the drive, while you may practice or discuss similar things at home like fire safety, you need to do that, or your family's plan in the event of a severe weather. There's nothing like hearing a shrill sound in the middle of reading a book. Number 51, older students can change their own schedules. Due to the schedule complexity in traditional public schools, sometimes older students are stuck with a class that they never signed up for or they didn't want. Schedule changes may require a lot of steps and visits with an academic advisor, or it may not even be possible. You know, that happens. Move freely in a home workspace. A homeschool space does not have to be confined to one area. Although it may work best for some kids, kids can take a book outdoors. Man, the more you can have the kids outdoors, the better. They can work in their homes or move freely according to how they feel or where they work best. This is an advantage of homeschool that typically brick and mortar schools cannot accommodate. They just can't, especially at the high grades as they fill up more students than space. Number 53, changing the curriculum if it's not working. It's hard for teachers to, okay, what may be working for one kid in a classroom is not working for another one. It's not the fault of the teachers. It's just that kids are different advanced, and they learn different ways. It's frustrating to find out you've invested perhaps time, money, or both into a curriculum that your child doesn't enjoy or they find it's difficult. But the beauty of homeschool is that you're not bound by one curriculum or one way of teaching. You can change your instructional format or materials at any time to better meet the needs of your kids' individual learning styles. I like this one, number 54, daily hot lunches. Think about that. Traditional schools often offer hot lunches too. However, the menu is set and your child would have to bring a lunch on the mystery meat days. Yeah, sometimes we wonder what that is. There is no access to a hot lunch on those days unless a child has a brunch time for lunch and it would stay warm on the thermos. Homeschools take care of hot lunch issue unless the family prefers a big breakfast and a light lunch. Either way, it's based on what your kids like to eat, and seasonings and condiments are usually an option. Don't miss out on childhood. Most school calendars are an average of 180 days a year with a minimum of 6 hours seat time. That's a lot of childhood time. Homeschool still requires meeting various state-to-state instructional hour requirements, but it's on your time, and you get a front row seat to the experience that would otherwise be given to someone else. Okay, skip the boring economics teacher. You remember that one? You remember watching Ferris Bueller Days Off? Anyone? Wasn't that like a boring teacher? We all had those. So number 57, turn boredom into hobbies. Best thing you could do. Kids become bored no matter the form of schooling. In homeschool, they can pursue hobbies more intensely and purposefully. You never know when those hobbies may turn into a lifelong career or interest. You never know. Teach growth in developmental topics when mature enough, okay? You're not going to have it slammed into your kid when they're not ready for it. Schools are pretty much a routine schedule of when and how growth and development topics are taught in addition to the curriculum. So, for example, puberty topics are typically taught about in 5th grade classrooms. And then some subjects that you really don't want your child to be taught to about, especially these days. Some kids are just not ready to process these topics at that time, especially when a classroom full of their peers, even though the boys and girls are separated. In homeschool, parents can teach growth and develop topics when their child is mature enough and choose their own way in their own materials. Pretty strong right there. Number 59, community service. A flexible schedule allows homeschool families to invest in the community in different ways and times. It allows students to contribute and become involved by assisting neighbors or volunteering for hometown projects throughout the day. Maybe a neighbor, an elderly neighbor, maybe they, had a stroke or something and they can't keep their grass cut. Let the kids do that. That's called community service. Absolutely. And you don't charge for community service, by the way. Number 60, set your school year calendar. Determine your own school year calendar around family work schedules when you would like to take breaks. You could homeschool year-round with regular books. You could follow some calendar as a school system, or you can make a custom schedule for the needs of your family. Number 61, toys are allowed. Pretty cool, huh? Homeschool kids can have regular unstructured times to play with their toys. Years ago, there were more early learning toys and play built into the traditional schools settings for young learners, but that's kind of more of an exception nowadays. Number 62, visitors are allowed. Think about this. Family or friends who stop by do not need a visitor's pass and are welcome to join in on the learning day, lunch, or for a visit. How about this? Number 63, board games are part of class. I love this, especially Monopoly. How better to learn about money and time management and your money management and staying out of jail free, by the way. There's a lot of learning and skills that can come from board games. Many homeschool families use and encourage them as a regular part of the day. They encourage critical thinking, communication, and a way to practice being a good sport about wins and losing. They're going to learn about wins. Don't be obnoxious about it. And then losing, what to do if you lose? You're not going to win everything. Not everybody gets a trophy in the real world. Okay, number 64, and we'll go into a commercial break. Practice skills and home improvement projects. That's a good one right here. Kids learn so much from do-it-yourself skills. They're learning lifelong skills when assisting with something that needs to be repaired, painted, or maybe built for home improvement projects. Something happens to the plumbing, I can tell you, every kid needs to know how to do plumbing. Absolutely. Let's go into a commercial break. We're going to be right back in just a few seconds, so you hang in there, okay? We'll be right back. The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. The only place I buy my beef is Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama. Their cattle is born and raised on their ranch, grass and grain fed, and you can feel confident when you serve your family and friends because their beef is all natural and no antibiotics or hormones are added. You can buy whole beef or perhaps go in with family or friends and buy half. Their customer service is #1 as they take care of the delivery to their local processor and can deliver to your home for a small added fee. They also offer herd replacement heifers. I always call Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama for my beef specialty recipes and cookouts, and you can too. Food shortages are increasing, so buy local by calling 256-523-6462. That's 256-523-6462. Okay, we are back. My name is Donna Thiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, as well as Abundance Television. We are syndicated, channel 182, but we're also syndicated on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Okay, let's get back to homeschooltoolbox.com. Why should you homeschool? Is it something you've thought about? Maybe you don't agree with the school system. Maybe there are just different reasons. Could be your whole family environment and you're just thinking about homeschooling. I highly suggest you do it. And if you can get the flexibility now with your work, maybe you could work and, work out of home. And then that way you've got money coming in and you can also homeschool at the same time. Let's talk about number 65, the internet. Okay, never has there been a better time for homeschooling than now with the learning resources at your fingertips. There are thousands upon thousands of printables, online courses, ideas, and answers to homeschool questions. This is a great time to be learning at home. Number 66, strong co-op connections. Homeschool has become so mainstream that chances are you already have an established group in your area. If not, you can start one. Why not be the person who starts it all? These are groups that most likely meet up on a weekly basis for activities or provide helpful information that is specific to your local area. Number 67, schedule appointments anytime. Okay, appointments can be scheduled at any time of the day. Homeschool leaves much more flexibility and often a preferred time of the day or week when it comes to appointments. This is a good one right here. Number 68, science projects. What's better? Science experiments are limited in scheduled labs in a classroom, yet they're so important for exploring science concepts and making real connections to learning. They can be simple, yet really help hands-on and visual learners to grasp certain concepts. In a homeschool settings, they can be a regular part of instruction and take place indoors or outdoors. Even something as simple as boiling an egg that's used for lunch can be a part of explaining the concept of changes of process with matter. Think about that. Something we all do. It's a lifelong learning experience. Number 69, get the family involved. This is really important. Perhaps one of the most special benefits of homeschool education is the involvement of family who are often eager to help with their areas of expertise anyway. Homeschoolers could greatly benefit from gardening with a grandparent. Man, that's got to be taught, and we're not getting that in school anymore. And learning parts of the whole process from farm to table. Yes, meat does not come from the grocery store. Kids need to know this stuff. Maybe you have a seamstress or a tailor in the family who can teach your child how to thread a needle and basic sewing. These skills are great, but at the time, special people are even more invaluable with these folks. Curriculum choices. Many beginning homeschool families begin the search of curriculum to find that it's entirely overwhelming with the amount of choices available. This is a good problem to have, though. It means that there are all kinds of learning materials to support different types of learners. Number 71, smaller class size. This is key right here. Unless you're a supersized family, chances are your homeschool will be smaller than a traditional schoolroom size. Multiple research studies find that this is a strong indicator of students being more successful. You know why? More one-on-one stuff. Yet it's hard to find a traditional brick and mortar setting that can allow that. 72, communication skills. Your students at home will be observing and participating in the day-to-day communication skills needed to navigate life successfully. For those parents who balance work from home and homeschooling, students can observe the communication skills needed to conduct business and work with others. This will translate well into their post-secondary education choices. Number 73, watch educational TV. Yeah, remember the Sesame Street days? Yeah, all that stuff. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. The possibilities that streaming has made for educational TV options have greatly expanded. Remember back in the day when a traditional classroom pretty much, well, scheduled the day around Sesame Street in the early grades. Then came VHS and DVDs, and that brought in Reading Rainbow, Bill Nye, and other collection sets that could be shown in the classroom. Now, streaming options make it possible to find all kinds of information and interesting educational content to add to the homeschool curriculum. Number 74, schedule chores. All got to know about scheduling chores. Not sure how many homeschoolers would agree with this, but this is an advantage. And when chores are scheduled and finished during the portion of the day, it frees up evenings and weeks for other activities. Number 75, less mandates. I love this one. While homeschool mandates vary from state to state, there is more freedom from federal or state mandates when traditional schools who have accountability measures in place tend to funding. That type of funding tends to mandates that ties into mandates usually means that you can really tell the lunchroom they'll no longer use salt or pepper shakers. In other words, it's not filled into, how should I put this in a nice way, what someone who's never had a kid can tell you what to do in raising and educate the kid. Okay, you're doing it. You're the parent. Okay, number 76, lunch how and where preferred. Take lunch outside on a pretty day. Or older students may want to eat while working to finish up their work a little earlier so they can take time for other activities. That can be done. Number 77, practical for field trips. Field trips are not considered extracurricular, but they are an important part of instruction and extend the learning process to real-world application. Yeah, textbooks are good, but there's something different about the experience of something, okay? Day-to-day errands and practical skills such as mailing a package or paying a bill create practical learning opportunities. Number 78, in-depth studies. You can take a deep dive into subjects with your child, teach them parts that may get left out under the time constraints of a typical classroom. It's not the teacher's fault because the teacher is having to take care of unruly kids and they're having to spend too much time on that instead of teaching, and I just think that's so sad. I really do. Number 79, no parent signatures are needed. You know why? Because you're the parent. Absolutely. Homeschool parents do not have to sign a daily communication log or send in a doctor's note. Permission to be quirky. Children and adults all have their quirks, right? But negative peer pressure can cause kids to be embarrassed or lose self-esteem for all those special quirks. Learning in a comfortable home environment allows kids to be themselves, and quirks are just part of what makes them individual and unique. Let them be themselves. Number 81, encourage independence with routines. That's all part of it too, right? Independence is encouraged by students who have certain non-negotiables throughout the day that may be for school or maybe care for the home, pets, and daily responsibilities. You got a pet, you got to be responsible for it, right? Over time, they can set their morning routine and continue to add parts to the school day until they can pretty much well follow the routine without much help from the parents or from adults, period. Number 82, supplies are within reach. Homeschool books and supplies are within your students' reach, and there's no need for a backpack unless you're taking the class to another location for the day. This can help develop organizational skills and life skills as they use the right tools as needed to get the work done. Because the amount of students using supplies in a traditional classroom, there's often wait time or special permission needed to access supplies. By the way, check out the Amazon link right there. If you don't mind using that link, you're actually helping support our station and also the show. You can find all kinds of great things about homeschooling using that link. Okay, number 83, practice practical skills. Your homeschoolers can practice learning, writing, and then putting the stamp on an envelope and walk it to the mailbox. There's so many practical skills that can be incorporated directly into their day-to-day lessons. Number 84, flexibility to pursue outside interests. This is a biggie. Families who may start to homeschool temporarily often end up making a more long-term situation because of the flexibility it provides for students to pursue outside interests or extracurriculars during the school day. Like, what if your child wants to take guitar lessons? Typical school day, there's no time for that. They can with the flexibility here. Number 85, choose your own adventure course, by the way. Older homeschool students can have more input into the selection of courses and are not dependent on an advisor to change the schedules, although they may want to consult with their parents first. Due to the structures of homeschools being very interest driven, there's a good chance that most classes will work out as they are chosen. Pacing adjusted as needed. Okay, what's that about? It's hard for a student, or a teacher for that matter, to be absent in a traditional public school. True. The pace moves on to a schedule that doesn't allow for a lot of time to reteach new concepts. This makes it difficult when a student is absent because they return to school to a pile of made-up work in addition to the regular work. Homeschooling pacing allows time to start where students left off and they eliminate gaps. Think about what happened during COVID. Man, a lot of kids went on without learning, and it wasn't their fault. It was the whole situation that we were set up in. Number 87, messes are allowed. I would have liked that one. Planned or sometimes unplanned, educational messes create some of the best opportunities for hands-on learning. Really messy activities can be moved outdoors, not in the classroom. Or parents can make use of an old sheet or maybe a plastic tablecloth to create messy but meaningful learning activities. Number 88, high school student, college, and career options. I love this one. You think dual enrollment is only for the structured school? Nuh-uh. No, listen to this. Some older homeschool students are finished for the day and midday or earlier and have jobs, internships, or participate in homeschool high school dual enrollment. The flexibility and length of the school day allows plenty of time for exploration. Learn time management. Number 89. When schoolwork is done at home, it's done. And something older students may divide their time to finish studies in the evening, but in doing so, they learn the valuable skill of time management and how to pace themselves to finish what needs to get done. Did you know that fidget devices are welcome? We'll end with this one. Number 90. The past decade has produced some amazing devices to help kids deal with fidgeting. Everything from fidget spinners, cubes, balls, and much more has helped kids transfer extra energy. However, these are often banned in traditional schools because they also can create distractions. Homeschool can and should be adapted to give students the tools and devices they need to perform their absolute best. Thank you so much for watching The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications and Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Again, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate it. And you are very, very special. Thank you so much for sending recommendations for subjects that you would like for me to talk about. I'll be happy to do that. You can send an email to donna@icradio.media anytime you want to, and I'll look into those suggestions, and we'll do some background work, and we'll get those things situated for you. Some great things will be coming up with the show. Can't tell you yet. I'm just dying to, because you're so special to me. I would love to let you in on it now, but I'll let you know pretty soon what's happening. Again, thank you so much for watching.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and my employees and I want to thank each and every one of you for your continued support. With everything going on right now, your rest is so important. That's why we're having the biggest MyPillow sale ever. Not only are my bed pillows as low as $19.98, but you can get the best body pillows ever. Regular $89.98, now only $29.98. Take your rest on the go with our Roll and Go Anywhere MyPillows for only $14.98. And we have our new couch and accent pillows. They aren't just for looks. They have MyPillow's patented adjustable fill that gives you that amazing MyPillow comfort. In this economy, you get the best gifts ever for the best prices ever. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code and you get deep discounts on body, couch, bolster pillows, and so much more, including my original bed pillows for as low as $19.98. Please order now while quantities last.